chase. Looney to Curry, Curry the corner.
Do you know what separates Stephen Curry from almost every other elite shooter on the planet? It isn't just the shots he makes, it's the ones he's already forgotten. For most players, a miss creates a mental echo that can disrupt the next shot and the one after. But for Curry, the moment the ball leaves his fingertips, the result effectively ceases to exist. He isn't just shooting a basketball, he is actively practicing a form of neurological warfare against the very concept of failure. Over the next few minutes, we are going to deconstruct the 5 core secrets behind this unshakable confidence. You'll learn the training techniques that make games feel easy and the mental frameworks that build resilience. And the most powerful secret has nothing to do with a gym. It's a mental trick you can start using the second this video ends. Before we dive in, think about the last time you hesitated before a big moment. Not just in sports, but in life. What was the one thought that held you back? Pause for a second and pinpoint it. That hesitation is exactly what we're going to learn to erase. The single greatest tool in Stephen Curry's arsenal might be something sports psychologists call task relevance. After a miss, his brain is trained to immediately discard the emotional and technical data of that failure and refocus entirely on the present. It's a deliberate mental firewall. This is crucial because a negative feedback loop is the fastest way to start a slump. The memory of the last miss creates tension for the next shot. Curry short-circuits that entire process. In life, this is the skill that prevents one bad meeting from ruining your entire day, or one awkward comment from killing your confidence for the rest of the week. The past only has the power you give it. Your actionable takeaway is this: the next time you make a mistake, give yourself just 10 seconds to feel it, then mentally move on. It's not about ignoring failure, it's about refusing to let it infect your future. What if the secret to performing under pressure wasn't about rising to the occasion, but about making the occasion feel exactly like every moment that came before it? That's the genius behind Curry's famously consistent pre-shot routine. The quick dribble, the spin of the ball, the specific dip and rise. It's not superstition, it's a powerful psychological anchor. In a roaring arena filled with chaos and expectation, his ritual creates a bubble of normalcy, a signal to his brain that says, "We've done this 10,000 times before. This is just another shot." Your routine is your refuge from chaos. This is why airline pilots run through the same checklist for every single flight. Here's your takeaway. Build a simple 2-step pre-flight check for your most important daily task. It could be 2 deep breaths and a sip of water before a call, or organizing your desk the same way before you start work. Create your anchor, and you'll find you can weather any storm. Imagine you've just made a glaring mistake in a presentation at work. The room is silent, and you can feel your face flush. What happens next? For most people, a spiral of negative self-talk begins, replaying the error over and over. Stephen Curry combats this on the court with a mental technique you can borrow: the 10-second reset. It's a conscious, disciplined rule. After any failure, big or small, he gives himself a maximum of 10 seconds to process it, to feel the frustration, analyze the error, and then he must let it go. The mental door slams shut. This isn't about ignoring the mistake, it's about quarantining it. 10 seconds to reflect, a lifetime to progress. This prevents the emotional baggage of one error from affecting the next 10 actions. Your takeaway is to adopt this rule starting today. The next time you slip up, set your mental timer, acknowledge it, learn from it, and after 10 seconds, force your full attention onto what's next. If you want to achieve unshakable calm in high-pressure situations, you must stop practicing in comfortable ones. This is the paradoxical philosophy at the heart of Stephen Curry's training regimen. While other players perfect their shot in a quiet gym, Curry's trainers famously put him through what looks like a basketball circus. He'll dribble one basketball while catching a tennis ball with his other hand. He wears special goggles that flash like a strobe light, momentarily blinding him, forcing his brain to predict the ball's location. The goal isn't just physical skill, it's neurological adaptation. By intentionally creating sensory overload in practice, he makes the chaos of a real NBA game feel manageable, even slow by comparison. He manufactures chaos to find his calm. Your takeaway is to find one way to add a small, controlled disruption to a routine task. Try memorizing a phone number while music is playing. It's a small-scale version of the same principle, building a brain that can find the signal in the noise. Remember the first time you drove on a fast-moving highway after only practicing in an empty parking lot? That feeling of being overwhelmed is precisely what Curry's training is designed to eliminate. The core philosophy is simple. If practice is consistently more difficult than the actual performance, the performance itself feels like a relief. This flips the entire pressure dynamic on its head. For him, the game becomes the easy part, the reward for surviving the relentless difficulty of his training. This builds a profound, earned confidence that isn't just a hopeful belief, but a cellular knowledge that he has already conquered far worse scenarios in the gym. The pressure of a game-winning shot is high, but it pales in comparison to the controlled sensory chaos he's mastered daily. He doesn't rise to the occasion, he builds it. By over-preparing for a hostile environment, the actual environment feels like home turf, giving him a mental edge before the ball is even in his hands. What if the key to a more effortless life isn't removing challenges, but intentionally adding small, manageable ones? This is how you apply Curry's training philosophy. I call it the add one friction rule. Once a week, pick a routine task and add a single, harmless point of difficulty to it. If you're rehearsing a presentation, do it with the TV on in the background. If you're trying to learn a new recipe, try to recall the steps from memory before checking the instructions. The goal isn't self-sabotage, it's capacity building. You are deliberately expanding your brain's ability to function and focus amidst minor disruptions. Build your resilience in moments of low stakes. This way, when real-world high-stakes friction inevitably appears, it won't feel like a catastrophe. It will just feel like another Tuesday in your self-designed training camp. In the highest levels of professional sports, we're taught that pressure demands seriousness and intense, unbroken focus. But Stephen Curry's greatest competitive advantage might be the one we dismiss as childish: pure, unadulterated joy. When you see him smiling before a free throw or laughing with a teammate during a timeout, you're not seeing a lack of focus. You are witnessing a deliberate biological strategy. Positive emotions like joy release dopamine into the brain, a neurotransmitter that enhances motor skills, creativity, and problem solving. While many athletes perform in a high cortisol state of stress, which narrows focus and tightens muscles, Curry is actively cultivating a neurochemical cocktail for peak performance. He doesn't just play the game, he enjoys it. His joy isn't simply a result of his success. It's a fundamental ingredient that creates it, making him more relaxed, more creative, and more resilient in moments where others falter. Have you ever heard the advice to fake it till you make it? What if there's real science behind that? And what if we can see it in action every time Curry celebrates a shot? His signature shimmy isn't just showboating. It's a physical manifestation of a powerful psychological principle known as a feedback loop. The science of embodied cognition shows that our physical actions can directly influence our emotional state. By physically celebrating with confidence, shoulders back, a smile, expressive movement, he is sending a powerful signal back to his brain, reinforcing his feeling of self-assurance. This creates a self-perpetuating cycle. The confident action fuels a confident mindset, which leads to better performance, which in turn creates more reasons to celebrate. His celebration is also part of his preparation. It's an intentional act that solidifies his dominance, not just on the scoreboard, but inside his own mind. You don't need to be on a world stage to harness this neurochemical advantage. You can systematically build it into your own life with a tool called a joy trigger. This is a small, deliberate, and personal action you take immediately before a difficult or stressful event to intentionally shift your emotional state. Before a big presentation, it could be listening to one specific uplifting song. Before a difficult conversation, it could be taking 30 seconds to watch a video that always makes you laugh. The key is consistency. By repeatedly linking this positive stimulus with a stressful task, you begin to rewire your brain's automatic response. You can choose your state before the state chooses you. Your takeaway is to identify your joy trigger. Find one small thing that reliably lifts your spirits and make it the non-negotiable first step before you tackle your next big challenge. All right, we're officially at the halfway point. If you're finding these secrets valuable for building your own brand of confidence, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. The second half is all about the unseen forces that create resilience, and you won't want to miss how the people around you can become your greatest competitive advantage. What if the most profound source of an individual's confidence doesn't come from within, but from the people standing right next to them? This brings us to the overlooked concept of proxy confidence. Stephen Curry's freedom to take seemingly impossible shots is built upon a bedrock of absolute trust in his team system. He isn't playing a solo game. He's the leading edge of a highly engineered machine. The mental load on him is dramatically reduced because he has unwavering faith that Klay Thompson will be in the right spot or that Draymond Green will make the perfect pass. This ecosystem of trust allows him to operate with a clear mind, focusing solely on his task. His confidence is not his alone. It's borrowed and shared. This reframes confidence not as a lonely pursuit, but as a collective state that you build and draw from, proving that the strongest individuals are often the most supported. Imagine stepping onto a stage, not only having practiced your lines, but knowing the lighting is perfect, the sound is flawless, and every technical detail has been triple-checked by the best crew in the business. That is the layer of confidence Stephen Curry takes into every single game. His trust extends beyond his teammates to the entire unseen support staff. He trusts the work of the nutritionists who dialed in his diet, the data analysts who broke down opponent tendencies, and the trainers who optimized his physical conditioning. This is the quiet confidence of elite preparation. It removes dozens of variables and mental burdens, allowing him to focus solely on execution, secure in the knowledge that the foundation he stands on is flawless. He is the tip of a very well-crafted spear. His performance is the final visible expression of hundreds of hours of work done by a trusted team in the shadows. Your performance in your career and life is rarely a solo act, so it's time to stop thinking like you're on your own. You can apply this principle of proxy confidence by conducting a support crew audit. Take a moment this week to literally write down the names of the people who form your professional and personal ecosystem. Who is your coach? The mentor whose advice you trust? Who are your trainers? The friends who keep you accountable and prepared? Who are your teammates? The colleagues or family members you rely on to execute their role, allowing you to focus on yours. Confidence isn't just built, it's assembled. The actionable takeaway is to not only identify these people, but to consciously start leaning on their strengths. Delegate tasks. This frees up your mental energy to excel at what you do best. In a world where millions of people have an opinion on your every move, how do you decide who to listen to? The secret is that Stephen Curry doesn't. He has cultivated a powerful internal feedback filter. He understands the crucial difference between signal and noise. The signal is the targeted, constructive feedback from his trusted inner circle, his coaches, his trainers, and a few key teammates. Everything else, from media headlines to the roar of the crowd, is simply noise. By developing a personal benchmark for success that is far more demanding than any external one, he insulates his confidence from public opinion. This allows him to remain emotionally stable, whether he's being called the greatest shooter ever or is in the middle of a supposed slump. He is the signal. The world is the noise. This mastery allows him to perform based on his own process, not on the ever-changing narrative around him. We spend a lot of energy learning how to process criticism, but for elite performers, what if praise is actually the more dangerous of the two? Praise creates a powerful temptation to become complacent, to believe you have finally arrived. This is a trap that Stephen Curry expertly avoids. For him, praise isn't a comfortable cushion to rest on. It's simply data that confirms his rigorous process is working. When people praise his success, he doesn't see it as a reason to relax. He sees it as evidence that his relentless training, his mindset, and his habits are correct, which only motivates him to double down on them even further. He uses praise as fuel, not as a finish line. This transforms positive feedback from a potential trap into a powerful motivator, ensuring that success never becomes the enemy of his future progress. You cannot listen to every voice, so you must have a system for deciding who truly gets heard. This is how you build your own feedback filter using the trusted counsel rule. For each important area of your life, your career, a key relationship, a personal skill, intentionally select a small core group of 1 to 3 people whose feedback you will treat as signal. This is your counsel. Everyone else's opinion, whether it's glowing praise or harsh criticism, is automatically categorized as noise. This isn't about arrogance. It is a strategic defense of your mental energy and focus. Your actionable takeaway is to define your counsel this week. Write down who has earned the right to give you meaningful feedback in each domain of your life. Curate your critics, and you will master your craft. This act of conscious selection is the first step to building an unshakable internal compass. The line between confidence and arrogance can seem incredibly thin from the outside, but they are built on fundamentally different foundations. Arrogance is external, loud, and defensive. It's a performance for an audience, constantly seeking validation and needing to proclaim its own greatness. Because it relies on external approval, it is incredibly brittle and shatters at the first sign of genuine failure. Authentic confidence, the kind we see in Curry, is internal, quiet, and resilient. It is the deep-seated result of thousands of hours of unseen preparation and a trust in one's own process. It doesn't require an audience because it has already been proven to itself in the gym. Confidence is quiet. Insecurity is loud. True confidence welcomes challenges and views failure as data, while arrogance fears anything that might expose its fragile foundation. What do Stephen Curry's deep faith and his role as a father have in common? They are both powerful psychological assets that give him the ultimate freedom to fail on the basketball court, because his core identity is anchored in things far more permanent than a game. His self-worth is not on the line with every shot he takes. A bad shooting night or a loss in the playoffs doesn't threaten his fundamental value as a person. This provides an incredible psychological safety net. It paradoxically allows him to take bigger, more audacious risks during a game because the consequences of failure are contained entirely within the arena. His identity is not tied to the outcome of the game. This strong foundation outside of his profession is what allows him to be so resilient and daring within it, providing a calm center in the storm of high-stakes competition. As the renowned sports psychologist Dr. Bob Rotella once said, confidence is not a guarantee of success, but a guarantee of giving yourself the best chance to succeed. The principles that fuel Stephen Curry are not confined to the basketball court. They are a universal blueprint for excellence under pressure. The mental reset after a mistake is the same tool an entrepreneur uses after a failed product launch. Training in chaos is the same method a surgeon uses to stay calm during a crisis. Weaponizing joy is what allows a creative artist to stay inspired and avoid burnout. Building proxy confidence and filtering feedback are essential skills for any effective leader. These are not secrets of sport, but secrets of success. They represent a holistic approach to building a mind that is not just skilled, but is also resilient, focused, and prepared for any challenge. So, the art of confidence isn't a single trick. It's a complete system. It's the discipline to forget failure, the courage to embrace difficult practice, the wisdom to find joy in the process, the humility to trust your team, and the focus to filter out the noise. By building these pillars, you create a foundation of confidence that can't be shaken by a single outcome. It's not about never missing a shot. It's about knowing with certainty that you are ready and willing to take the next one.